Hello ladies and gents, welcome to CGX, and this is UAE just hit Iran's crown jewel. Tehran can never replace it. Okay, so finally Middle Eastern countries, all the Lamborghinis and Bugattis are finally being thrown at Tehran. So they're like, okay, enough of talk. I guess we do have equipment. We did buy it from America. I guess it's time to use it. So they are attacking back. I'm pretty sure I saw news about Qatar also getting involved. This is my channel, Business Basics. I watch this channel. It's a decent channel for topics like this. If you haven't seen the channel, check out the original video page link from the description. And yeah, that's always fun.
For decades, Kuwait was one country that Iran would never touch. Every other Gulf state took the missiles either from Iran or from their proxies. Saudi Arabia absorbed the Houthi attacks that Iranians armed and directed. The UAE took 3,000 drones and missile strikes during this war alone. And Qatar, the supposed Iranian ally, was hit anyway. But you see, Kuwait was different. Kuwait stayed neutral, and Kuwait all this time, even before this war, kept the diplomatic channels open, both with Iran and with other Gulf monarchies. But it seems now Iran is breaking its own rules. Last night, IRGC commandos infiltrated a Kuwaiti military island to kill or capture American soldiers. I'm not joking, this was a massive escalation on the Iranians' part, and they're doing this during negotiations where they are supposedly saying that they won long.
So this has escalated from bombings to let's infiltrate, invade and kill American soldiers. What happened to the Marines that get there? I think it's time, right? The response is coming, that's what I'm thinking, right? Because before now I would have been like, no, Marines are not going to be used. I'm pretty sure Tripoli is just going to be there doing Tripoli thing. But now, yeah, Marines are going to get used, let's be honest. Because no way Iran attacks American soldiers and America doesn't respond, right? Even American people will be like, yeah, we don't want boots on the ground, but operation with Marines, I guess is fine after this. What are you doing, Iran? You're going to attack soldiers? You think the response is not going to come? Come on.
Long-term peace. This is something that has been confirmed by the Kuwaiti Foreign Ministry. Take a look at the report. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs expresses the state of Kuwait's strong condemnation and denunciation of an armed group from elements of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in the Islamic Republic of Iran, infiltrating Bubiyan Island with the aim of carrying out hostile acts against the state of Kuwait and their engagement with Kuwaiti armed forces personnel before being apprehended, which resulted in the injury of one member of the Kuwaiti armed forces. You see, the reason this is such a big deal is because the island that Iran decided to attack. This island, Bubiyan Island, sits about 30 kilometers southwest of the Iranian border. And Iran knows that US forces are now using this island and the base that's on there. That's because, you see, Iran actually attacked this island once before. On April 4th, when the US forces conducted numerous airstrikes just north of this location against Iranian terrorists attempting to cross into Iraq, Iran responded by hitting this island. Basically a retaliation for US strikes because Iran knows there are US forces operating out of this island. Then today, in the middle of a ceasefire and in middle of negotiations, IRGC attempted to infiltrate the base where quite possibly US forces are located.
You sent in 4 people. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can count them in your one hand, that's not enough, man. Would you gonna do something with them? Yeah, Americans, what do they know, right? Those American soldiers, they're just playing cards there. They're playing poker there. They're gonna get caught, off guard. Yeah, sure. 4, you sent 4.
It's not hard to assume what their goal was, either to kill or capture some American soldiers so they can get more leverage in the negotiations. Now, the important thing here is that Kuwait did say that this was an attack on their sovereignty and they reserve the right to respond. Here's that statement. Kuwait has said the state of Kuwait reserves its full and inherent right to self-defense in accordance to Article 51 of the United Nations Charter, and to take such measures as is deemed appropriate to defend its sovereignty and protect its people and residents. Now, the reason I bring up this statement, even though it sounds like it's just a cookie clutter statement that any country would put out after they are attacked, is because UAE would put out similar statements every time Iran would attack them with drones and missiles. And guess what? Before, we have covered, personally speaking, that UAE was heading back. And today, we actually have official confirmation of that happening. Take a look at this report. The UAE has been secretly carrying out attacks on Iran. One strike in April hit an oil refinery on Iran's Lavan.
UAE don't care. UAE is not America. They are not gonna get caught under scrutiny if they do something. UAE can just say, shut the hell up, like they attack me, I'm gonna do this. This ain't a democracy. UAE can say that. So UAE will attack civilian structures if they have to. They will attack refineries and attack where the oil is. Iran, you did this. If you wanted to attack America, sure, that makes sense. But now you're attacking like Middle Eastern countries. They have weapons too, and they can do same strategy you're using and will not discriminate. Civilian, not civilian, they'll just attack.
Island. Now, the timing of this attack is definitely interesting because it likely happened maybe few hours before or few hours after the ceasefire was announced. We don't know the exact time, but we know that was the day the attack took place. Now, at that point, in April, when the ceasefire was announced, everyone was speculating that who could it be? Was it Israel who hit this refinery? Was it the United States? Now, both of those countries, US and Israel, publicly denied that they weren't involved in this attack, and Iran never blamed anyone. But there were rumors that it was the UAE, and now we have confirmation. Now, this is where I do want to clarify for anyone that's confused. Initially, when this war started, every single Gulf country basically said that they're not going to let the United States use the airspace, and they're not going to let the United States use the bases that are situated in their territory. But this changed when Iran started attacking these countries in retaliation for the United States and Israel attacking Iran. That makes no sense to anyone. What Iran was doing was just pure terrorism. They were attacking a country that did not want to be involved in this war, and that's exactly why we now have more reports of other countries basically either giving permission to the United States to carry out attacks on Iran using their...
See, the thing here is, you can claim anything. It doesn't matter. The reality is there is no central figure that you look for, like a father figure in the global stage. Like, this is not fair. He hit me first. You can't really do that. Only thing that matters is power, right? And general sense of morality. So Iran can claim these countries are at fault if they are giving America bases, sure. But you better have power to back that up. You better have military strength to do something about it. But if you don't, does it even matter? At that time, you're just pissing people off. Like, yeah, this country said America's not going to use our space to do anything. And you attack them. Now they are the one attacking you. Do you have power to do anything? No, you don't. America was already too much. Now you added more people to it. So in the end of the day, it's not about morality or anything. You can't back your talk. Don't do that. You could have used UAE, Qatar, all these countries. These are Islamic countries. You could have used them as a middle ground to do some deal, to have some bargaining chip. Maybe you could have used this country to pressure USA and Trump to end the war, but you can't do that because you attack them.
Airspace, or countries like the UAE getting involved directly and hitting Iran and Iranian refineries. Now, UAE may be a small country, but their military is nothing to laugh about. Their military is well equipped with Western-made fighter jets and surveillance networks.
UAE isn't just some small country. UAE is the only country you think of when you think of Middle Eastern riches. Dubai and in general. Saudi Arabia is getting now richer and doing that thing. When it comes to tourism and just like shining city in the middle of, like Arabian desert, you think of UAE, you think of Dubai. So all that money is not going just anywhere. Of course, they have some defenses. I would argue they should have had more, at least defenses, if not offensive things. But they do have American things with them. F-18s and all that. I didn't even know that. I didn't know they had F-18, but apparently they do.
The attack suggests that country is now more willing to use force against Iran to make sure they don't get bullied by a terrorist regime. And if the war restarts, this is definitely not a good news for the Iranian regime. And guess what? It's not just Iran that was hitting UAE. We also have reports coming from Saudi Arabia that they were doing the same thing. Take a look at this. This literally came out while I was recording this video. So while I was recording the intro, the report came out that Saudi was also part of the retaliation against Iran. Here's the report from Reuters. Saudi Arabia launched covert attacks on Iran as regional war widened. And again, the timing of this is important. Saudi was not part of this war when the war started. Saudi only got involved in self-defense and in...
Isn't there news of Saudi prince, this guy, amping up Trump before the operation started? Is there any truth to that? Like, nobody confirmed it, but there was news of that floating around. Like, Bin Salman, I'm pretty sure that was, this is the guy, right? Who was amping up Trump. Yeah, this is the time. Do it now. And Netanyahu being Netanyahu things. Like, everybody was like, yeah, do it. That was the news. Was there any truth to that? I don't know.
Retaliation, basically to create deterrence. It was Iran who first attacked Saudi infrastructure and Saudi citizens. No self-respecting country would just let it slide. So even though during the war we didn't know...
Especially if you have money, you're trying to build 2-kilometer tall skyscraper and an insane amount of cube, which has a skyscraper in it, which is a city of its own. This is straight out of like Mass Effect or science fiction. Saudi's trying to do that. If you have that kind of money, yeah, you better respond. This is like having a mansion for a house, but you ride around in bicycle because you don't have a car. How does that work? If you're this rich, you better have some military infrastructure to respond.
If Saudi Arabia was heading back or not. Now we have confirmation that they were heading back. They were just not publicly announcing all this. Now this confirmation does come from 2 Western officials, which we don't know what that means. It could mean anyone, someone who's part of the government here in the United States or someone else from Europe or somewhere else. Then another 2 officials who are confirming this news are Iranian officials. Not sure how trustworthy that part is. But nonetheless, it's not far-fetched to believe that a country that's getting attacked by Iran unprovoked would respond somehow. That's how you create deterrence. That's how you make sure that people just don't go around attacking you. Now, another thing that's important to clarify here is that these reports are coming out now, but they're talking about attacks that took place before the ceasefire went into effect. So before April, these attacks took place during the war when Iran was hitting these countries and these countries were retaliating. If the war were to restart, which looks more and more likely because of the negotiations, United States is not willing to give any...
This video is like 24-hour plus old. I guess that's an eternity now because talks did collapse. So this is already outdated. Not outdated. Things happened after this, as what I'm saying. So yeah, it will kick off. I don't know what that means. USA is still attacking Iran. Iran is still doing Iran things. Everybody's doing that thing. Strait of Hormuz is still under threat. What ceasefire? Seriously, what ceasefire? When Trump said like, oh, we are under ceasefire, Iran immediately broke it. So it's like, what ceasefire?
Concessions when it comes to nuclear conditions they have, meaning they're willing to let go the missile condition that we had before the war. We are willing to let go the proxy funding that we were asking Iran before the war, but there has been no concessions offered when it comes to Iran's nuclear weapons and enrichment programs. And Iran is not...
I mean, yeah, if you let that go, what was all this for? You can have proxy money, you can have everything. By the way, you can also have nuclear weapons. You know what? I'm going to give you ICBM. How about that? You think that's what's going to happen? Of course not. Like, yeah, nuclear and ICBM, those 2 things can't happen.
Not willing to give those up either. So it seems like war has to restart at some point if negotiations don't move forward. And guess what? These Middle Eastern countries, these Gulf countries who were part of this war before, they are preparing for a second round. I have more details. Before we get into that, just a quick...
War doesn't necessarily have to restart, by the way. Trump has already been saying, like, I already did my thing. They're already 20 years back. If they want to rebuild now, it's going to take them 20 years. Trump is already saying that. There is a thing to it, a way of like exiting. So Trump might not necessarily start the war. This might end here. Still like fractures happening inside Middle East where like UAE, Qatar, Iran still attack each other. But USA might like walk away like we did our thing. That could happen as well.
Reminder for everyone to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It truly does help us out tremendously. And now let's look at this clip.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. The Middle East is bracing for the possibility that the
living
region returns
there now
to
in
war
Israel?
in the days ahead. Iran's parliament speaker Mohammad Khalibaf posted to X overnight saying our armed forces are ready to deliver a well-deserved response to any aggression. Mistaken strategy and mistaken decisions will always lead to mistaken results. The whole world has already figured this out. We are prepared for all options. They will be surprised. The threatening language comes after President Trump rejected the Iranian response to the U.S. peace proposal, calling it a piece of garbage. As he indicated, the ceasefire is on life support.
It's unbelievably weak, I would say. I would call it the weakest right now. After reading that piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it. I said, I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I would say it's one of the weakest right now. It's on life support.
Do you believe a diplomatic solution is possible with Iran, or do you only have military options now?
No, I think it's very possible.
Now, yesterday, President Trump did meet with military advisors and national security advisors to basically look at the options the United States has. This meeting took place after Iran sent their peace proposal, which was basically something the United States cannot accept. Iran wants to pause the war. Iran wants the United States to...
Look, man, here's the thing. I'm gonna clear this shit right now, right? US has military options, sure, but what does those look like? US can hit military things, but there are not many of them left. You already destroyed most of them. So now you can't scalp off one by one, right? Shave off where you can find them. Would that have a significant pressure to it? No. So what other option military has? Maybe civilian infrastructure, power structures, power plants, oil refineries, all of them, depots and everything. World might not like that. Your own people might not like that. On top of that, you now need congressional approval because it's been 2 months. You can call it a Operation Sledgehammer, which is they're trying to do. Would that work though? Or would that create weird pressure inside USA? Like whole political pressure and everything. Would people like that? Would that have a fluctuation in a stock market that rises oil prices even higher, pissing off people more? There is so much uncertainty. So I don't know how this is gonna go, is what I'm saying. I don't know if you go all in, you're going all in. Now there is no backing out. If people get pissed off, they get pissed off. But if you don't, I think Trump is slowly gonna if you don't make a deal, this is stagnated. I'm not gonna resume the operation, but I'm not gonna back down either. I'm kind of gonna keep the blockade on. It will be in a limbo. It might happen.
To lift the US blockade, Iran wants the US to release all the frozen funds, and in return, Iran just wants to open up the Strait of Hormuz. They do not want to give up the nuclear enrichment program they have. They do not want to give up the nuclear or enriched uranium that they have inside their nuclear facilities. All they want to do right now is just open up the Strait of Hormuz, and they want the United States to give up all the leverage that the US has. Of course, this is something US should not accept, and I don't think this is something US will accept. That's why the meeting took place with military commanders yesterday. But this is where it's important to clarify. Just because there was a meeting doesn't necessarily mean that a military action is coming anytime soon. These meetings are happening basically 2 times every single week ever since the ceasefire started. And we really haven't had any military action outside of Project Freedom. So maybe this could mean that Project Freedom would be restarting anytime soon, but just because there was a meeting with military commanders doesn't necessarily mean that the war is restarting. Important thing to keep an eye on here is President Trump is leaving for China tomorrow, and China has a lot of leverage over Iran, and Iran thinks China has a lot of leverage over the United States. So let's see how the meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping goes, what comes out of that meeting. I would highly doubt that a war would restart before that meeting. From the US point of view, it's
She, my man. Let's do something here. Let's work it out. Let's get this straight. You have this big economy because of us. We also have a growing economy because of you. We both need each other. You know what? Let's do something. We the big 2 top dogs here. Let's do something. So you can we can rub shoulders and in the end put pressure on Iran so we can make a deal. I can't go away. I can't back down from Iran. You know that, China. Come on, Xi. That could happen. Some kind of a backroom deal might happen with Xi Jinping, which benefits China and USA, where China puts pressure on Iran because China can. Who knows?
It's a very important meeting. From Chinese point of view, it's a very important meeting. Both sides would really prefer not to talk about Iran, but that's probably impossible considering the world we are living in right now. pretty much every country in the world is suffering because of the Strait of Hormuz crisis that Iran created. So I'm sure Iran would be the most important topic that the leaders would talk about. Let's see what comes out of it. Now, another important story that came out yesterday has to do with Pakistan, the country that has been mediating negotiations between the United States and Iran. And it's
They printed out papers, they printed out leaflets, billboards. It's a big deal for them. Oh, we are the one who's doing all the talks. All right.
interesting because it seems like Pakistan may not be the neutral negotiator that the United States wants it to be. Take a look at this report. As Pakistan positioned itself as a diplomatic conduit between Tehran and Washington, it quietly allowed Iranian military aircraft to park it in its country, potentially shielding them from US strikes.
Oh, who would have thought of that? People who hid Osama bin Laden and God knows how many, a lot of FBI's top most wanted terrorists, NSA's top wanted terrorists that died when India attacked a lot of places in Pakistan. Apparently they were just there. Who would have thought that they did that? Well,
Days after Trump announced the ceasefire in early April, Tehran sent multiple aircrafts to Pakistan Air Force Base Nur Khan. Among the military hardware was an Iranian Air Force RC-130, a reconnaissance and intelligence gathering variant of Lockheed's C-130 Hercules tactical transport aircraft.
why does Iran have an RC-130? Why does Iran have an RC? What? How?
Pakistani officials now confirmed that Iranian planes arrived in the country, as CBS reported, and are still there. The Pakistan military says, or the Pakistan Foreign Ministry says, that there is no linkage whatsoever to any military contingency or preservation arrangement. Assertions suggesting otherwise speculative, misleading, and entirely detached from the factual context. Pakistan says that the aircrafts are in the country to basically facilitate security in case there is further peace talks scheduled. Now, this is not that far-fetched of a conclusion because US military itself sent a lot of equipment to Pakistan in case there was a second round of talks happening and in case President Trump visits the country. But the reason so many people are so skeptical of Pakistan is because, as you guys may already know, during the Afghanistan war, Pakistan was in a way playing both sides. They were helping Afghanistan, they were helping Taliban.
Wait a minute, Taliban have your Hummer? Yeah, a lot of, when you left Afghanistan, you did leave a lot of equipment, right? So are you telling me there is a lot of American weapons that Taliban has? Okay. They have Humvee, look at that.
All the while being a US ally during that war. And that's why a lot of people have a harder time trusting Pakistan completely. One such person is Senator Lindsey Graham, who said this about Pakistan just this morning. Take a listen.
Are you aware of reports that Pakistan are allowing their bases to be used to park Iranian aircraft, General Kane?
Sir, I've seen one report on that.
Well, is it accurate?
Sir, I think based on the variety of classification matters.
Let me just say, do you agree if it is accurate, that is sort of inconsistent with it being a peace mediator?
Sir, I wouldn't want to comment on that based on the ongoing
Thank you.
negotiations and Pakistan's role.
Secretary.
Why is he being aggressive to your military leader? And anyway, isn't he Republican like pro-Trump? This is confusing. I get it, like, this panel's job is to like make put a light on things that general public doesn't know about but should know about. That is their job. I get that. But why he's being aggressive to Kane? Kane did say like, yeah, there's security reason, but yeah, we did get a report. He did say that just. But I get it, like it's their job to shine a light. At least they're doing that and not just like fine enough. So there is some credit to that because somebody else in his place might not even say all these things.
If the mediator is allowing reconnaissance aircraft of Iran to be parked in Pakistani air bases, do you think that's consistent with being a fair mediator?
I wouldn't want to get in the middle of these negotiations. I want
well, I
maximum
do.
efficacy
I
for our
want to get in
people.
the middle of these negotiations. I don't trust Pakistan as far as I can throw them. If they actually do have Iranian aircraft parked in Pakistan bases to protect Iranian military assets, that tells me we should be looking maybe for somebody else to mediate. No wonder this damn thing is going nowhere.
Now, let's see what comes out of this. Let's see if the
Dan Graham, that's something, right? Everybody's like, oh, he's saying like what we're thinking, but apparently he's saying it. All right.
those planes actually go back to Iran or not if peace talks are called off, because then we would know exactly what those planes are doing in Pakistan. Now, this is where one thing I do want to point out is just 2-3 weeks ago, we had Iranian officials accusing Pakistan of being too pro-United States in these negotiations. They wanted to
Pakistan cannot catch a break, man. If they're pro-Iranian, Americans like, why the what? Iranians like, those people are not pro-Iranian enough. Pakistan like, do I have no respect? What the hell? I'm a nuclear-powered nation. I'm much powerful than Iran military-wise, and I get no respect.
a mediator who was neutral. So in a way, that's kind of a positive, but if both sides are accusing the mediator of being pro the other side, because at least it's not just accusations coming from one side. Both sides are...
You know what? India could technically go and say, like, you know what? We're going to mediate. But India's not doing it. It's like, nope. Slowly walking away, closing out the door. Let the Pakistan do their thing.
thinking that Pakistan is not doing enough to help out their side, or maybe Pakistan is doing too much to help out the other side. But nonetheless, I think as negotiations move forward, we'll know more. Now, shifting our focus back into Iran, the economic situation is getting really, really bad. Take a look at this report. One thing almost every person I talk to in Iran has told me, and you wouldn't notice from English language media coverage, is that the back-breaking inflation that Iran is going through right now, particularly for food, the prices have gone up exponentially in the past.
Dude, does that matter though? That would matter in America. If inflation hits America, that's it. Trump is basically removed. It's a democracy. In Iran, they can just say, shut the hell up, it's happening, like you weather the storm. Well, what are they going to do? Protest? That did happen. Thousands of people did get deleted. What else is left? So yeah, this is happening, but in the end, you need to ask, like, the people who are running the country, the top people, are they affected? Or is it just the general public? Because if it's general public, they probably don't care.
Past month, and this is because the supply is really not coming in. There was a food cargo that was supposed to go in, but apparently Iranians were trying to, or more specifically IRGC was trying to smuggle in weapons by hiding them in these containers that are really meant to be transporting food for the country. And that's why the inflation is really out of control, because supply is not coming in, and of course Iranian currency just keeps crashing, and that means Iranians just buy less of what they can import.
Oh god, so common people in Iran is gonna get screwed? Are they not screwed enough? Man, come on, they're gonna have food shortages now. It's the darkest before dawn. That's the saying, right? Like, that might be true here because it is getting really dark.
Where they're buying from overseas, their currency loses value every single day, and that means they can buy less and less every single day. In fact, the situation has gotten so bad that Iran's central bank has imposed restrictions on foreign currency transactions to preserve its reserves. Basically, they want to make sure they have hard currency, foreign currencies like dollar, euro, maybe even yuan, that they can use to buy supplies from other countries. Now, this is where the economic situation is only going to get worse, but unfortunately, this is the problem with dictatorships or something like, I guess, Russia or North Korea, where even though the economic situation is horrible, the people are suffering every single day. The elites who are making decisions don't suffer, so they can last for a very long time. This is one of the bigger problems with sanctions, especially in the short term. Because sanctions work. They're meant to go after the economy. They're meant to make it harder for the people at the top to basically grow their economy and make money. But unfortunately, even when the economy suffers, the people don't want to give up power, so they're not willing to admit mistake and negotiate. We have seen this happen in Russia. We have seen this happen in North Korea. And we'll probably see this happen in Iran. The population will suffer the most. The elites will enjoy the power they have and benefit off of that, and they want to continue that way for as long as they can. Now, to understand why Iran is behaving the way it's behaving right now, we have to go back and look at how Iran got to where it is today. That doesn't just mean going back to 1979 when the Islamic Revolution took place. In fact, we have to go further back to when the Qajar dynasty was ruling Iran in the 19th century and look at how the decisions the ruling class made back then still affects Iran to this.
Yeah, go to regional paging from that. Support this channel. It's a good channel, man. Yeah. I genuinely don't know what's going to happen. I usually have some ideas. This time, I don't know, man. Things are not going the way you would think in any normal time. Iran is not acting the way anyone else would act. If any other country got attacked this level, destroyed this level, they would do some kind of a deal. Look at India-Pakistan thing. India destroyed 20 or so bases of Pakistan instantly. Pakistan ran to Trump and peace deal. And India's like, fine, fair enough, I didn't want to attack anyway. That is the normal response. Pakistan had a normal response. Let's walk away. Iran is not doing that against USA. It's like, how are you going to fight USA? That doesn't... So again, like, what is USA going to do now? Like, imagine this. If you're in a fight and you beat the shit out of somebody and the guy is nearly collapsed, like about to hospitalize, and the guy still want to fight, would you fight the guy? Do you really want to put the guy into the hospital or worse? So it's like there is a real dilemma there. USA have that dilemma. What is USA going to do, man? I don't know. Right, well, there you go. UAE just hit Iran's crown jewel. I mean, yeah, it's like, I'm pretty sure Qatar news also broke. They are going to do their thing. They are thinking about it for past month or so. I guess it takes time to gather resources. Logistics is not easy when it comes to anything military. But yeah, all right, I'll see you next time.